Okay guys, well, let's try this again. So, my first attempt at filming, luckily I hadn't gotten started on anything yet. My phone flipped out of my stupid little tripod and landed in the sink, luckily which was not full of water. Anyways, excuse me. So we got engine block is clean, new connecting rod, piston and sleeve, and this is for the Dynamite 16 or SH16. We got our wrist pin in there, so I still need to take that apart. We got the crankshaft in the freezer. Like I said, the crankshaft is in the freezer to freeze it, to make it smaller. Anyways. Okay guys, how does that look? I'm pretty sure good. Okay. Anyhow, let's that could have been really bad. I would have been really pissed off today if that would have happened. They said the tripod that's my phone is right now sitting on is a piece of garbage. And the well, anyways, it flipped out of there and it could have been really bad. So I'll take this old one apart. Not too worried about this. I will save the piston and sleeve. There's no bearings. This I was going to use this block, but someone drilled the holes out and just did a crappy job on it, so we're not going to use that one. We got a perfectly nice block right here to use. Let's see, is there one clip or two? There's two clips in there, so we're going to need a pair of pliers to remove those. So we want to note the direction of how everything goes together, which is very important. We can see our old piston, how it looks here. Here's our new one. Here's our new rod. So we know that the notch of the piston has the slot, groove, whatever you want to call it, facing towards it. So we're going to lay that off to the side so we know which way it goes, just to be careful, because if you put it together wrong, bad things happen. Right, let's try to, these little clips, you don't want to lose them. Actually, a really smart thing to do is do all your work like this in a plastic Ziploc bag. That way, if your clip does take off on you, you know, it can't go far, right? Makes sense, doesn't it? Oh, this pin's going to be a bastard to get out, I can tell you that right now. I'll try to maybe be able to get that other clip out of there. It's always fun dealing with stuff that's like 20 years old that has never been apart before. I'm going to pause and get that out off camera. You guys already seen me do one, so I'm going to save some space in my phone. Hang tight. Alright, we got it out, but the pin is seized to the rod. I actually do want to save this piston and sleeve because I'm going to send it away to have it pinched by good old Rick there at RB Mods. Rick, you're awesome. And I'm just going to go over to the other side of the room and just press that pin out with a little tiny press thing, whatever. Be right back. Alright, so we got our pin, because when I got my part slot, unfortunately there was no wrist pin. This one feels fine. There's no scratches or anything. It doesn't like feel like notchy or anything, and it fits perfectly in the new piston, so we're good with that. Alright, so we're going to put our piston assembly together here, but yeah, I'm going to save this piston and sleeve and rod out of the old motor here. Like I said, you can tell it's completely shot because the piston does that. You can see how high it goes up on the cylinder. That means your piston and cylinder is shot. You know, just old age, worn, you know. People go, oh my god, these things only last for like 3 or 4 gallons. Well, no, they actually last a lot longer than that. But if you beat the crap out of it and don't maintain it, they don't last long. Alright. Parts. Okay, here. Just had a bit of a brain fart for a moment. It's been a long day and the day hasn't even started yet. What time is it here? So in Vancouver, where I am, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Right. Let's move on with our piston and connecting rod assembly, shall we? So here's our rod. Like I said, it faces the same, that slot faces the same way as the cutout in the piston. If you put it together wrong, like I was mentioning, bad things can happen. And I don't like it when bad things happen. I try to avoid that as much as possible, but it seems lately I just keep on stepping in it over and over again with certain people of the internet. Anyways, yeah, so here we can see our pin. I hope I'm in frame. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. I probably wasn't in frame at all, damn it. Okay, so you guys can see Where are we here? I'm trying to look through it from this side. Okay, so we can see our notch and our groove. And what the heck is that noise? I guess it got windy outside. My blinds are flying around. Alright. A lot of people ask, what do I use for assembly lubricant? I use Klotz oil, actually. You can use the Benol. A lot of people say, oh, it's great for after-run oil. It's really not meant for after-run oil at all, since it can get tacky and sticky. And, well, you don't really want that to happen. A lot of people say, oh, running only castor oil in your fuel, it's going to get sticky and varnish. I actually haven't had that problem yet. These are very tedious to put back in. You got to grab it in the center and then try to gently roll it in. So we're going to go, there's a piece of hair stuck to my finger. No wonder I'm losing my mind. Okay, so having a really fine pair of pliers helps a lot to do this. Sometimes you can get it to go the other way. You can't run without these. If you lose these clips, you're screwed. Because if these fall out, well, say goodbye to your motor. I need to find a different pair of pliers. I'll pause and be right back. Alright, so we're back again. We got the clips in finally. That was only a lot more tedious than it really should have been. One thing you want to do, once you get your clips in, is push either side of the wrist pin back and forth to make sure the clips are fully seated. If they're not, they will jump out. Mine have not jumped out, so they're good to go. Right, I guess we got that assembled. What's next here? I guess we can put bearings in, can't we? Sure we can. We need our little torch here to preheat our engine case. And a lot of people go, oh my god, you're going to burn a hole in the engine. Well, no, you won't. It comes down to two things: common sense and common sense. And if you don't have any, if you don't have those, well, you're pretty much hooped. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. I'm just going to put a little bit of after-run oil in there. You don't need a lot. You don't need to flood the damn thing, but just enough for the bearing surface to be a little bit wet. And I'll probably grab another bit. That might be a smart idea. Alright. Let's chair it away. Alright. So the whole idea here is to keep the heat flowing. You don't want to just leave it in one spot for too long. Make sure you don't have anything flammable around you that you're going to burn your house down with. Like I said, you don't have to just hold it. Oh god, it's going to heat up one spot only. No, you're going to move it around. The whole idea here is to heat up the whole casting. So we're going to get a little bit of heat on this. People ask, oh, don't use a heat gun to see how hot you got it. No. Kind of done hundreds and hundreds of these stupid things, so I've kind of figured it out. Guessing probably about 300 degrees. But, oh my god, that's meltdown temperature. Well, if it's running, yeah. Probably maybe 260, 280, I have no idea. Hot enough. The thing is, you want to kind of concentrate the heat more around the front here, around the rear, because your bearing actually sits right there. You'll see a little bit of smoke. That's just for the stuff there. So we're going to grab our crankshaft. Not dropping, so I'm going to freeze it and lose it. And it is frozen. And it's got schmutz on it now. Great. Your toast crumbs. But, okay, there we go. Got it. Alright. So we're going to continue to warm this up a little bit. We're going to go with the front bearing first. We're going to use the crankshaft as an installation tool. You're going to be quick, because you want it to go fast. You don't want to wait for too long, and then the bearing will stick in the case. In that case, you got to heat it back up again, which is kind of annoying, but it's not a huge deal. Alright, should be good to go here. So we're going to go not burn yourself. Front bearing first, should drop right in without burning your fingers. Ah, damn it, like I just did. There you go, front bearing's in. Rear bearing's on the crank. Oop. Might have to give it a little bit more heat yet. It wasn't quite hot enough. Almost had it, almost. So just give it a little bit more. Right yonder. Just a little bit. And that crankshaft will drop right in. You poke it forward. Make sure your front bearing is seated without burning your fingers like I did. And as you can see, if you look in there, the rear bearing is fully seated. You can tug the crank without burning your fingers like I just did again. Leave the crank in there now. Don't take it out. And you want to let this cool off. So you can actually put it in the freezer for a while. And I'm going to do that so I don't have to wait for 2 hours for the stupid thing to cool down. So we can get back on with the build here. Okay, we're back. I just gave it a little quick hose of some an old-fashioned brake parts cleaner there just to reduce the temperature so I can handle it and get on with my day. Alright, so our crankshaft bearings are installed. You guys seen that? It's pretty friggin' easy. There's no binding, there's no tight spots, everything feels beautifully smooth. We can pop our crank out now. As you can see, there's the rear bearing right there. And whoever it was that asked about the bearing that I used, or that I bought and that took forever, there it is, I mentioned it before. So you guys can look at that. And then it was just the Traxxas Pro 15 front bearing, which are actually, I've got some stuff in there, actually a good set of bearings. They're actually NTN bearings made in Germany, believe it or not. Something Traxxas actually did right there, rather than using those B-grade crappy bearings. They're 3.3 and 2.5, whatever the point was with that. I'm not exactly quite sure. Had some breadcrumbs in there. Those are always good for your engine. Alright. Wish I could play tunes in my videos, guys. Unfortunately, YouTube don't like that. I have to buy some editing software and all that other fun stuff. And figure out how to use it. That way I can actually put music in my videos and edit them and actually, you know, speed things up so it's not so boring for you guys to watch. You know, I would make more content about stuff like this, but just the parts just take forever to come in. And all this nonsense right now, the mail's slower than it was, and, well, you guys get the idea. Alright, moving on. We have our piston and connecting rod assembly. You're going to put some oil up in the wrist pin here. Remember, these are like the highest stress parts of your engine when it's first going to be started. So you want, you don't want to flood it, but you want some kind of lubrication there. A lot of people say, oh, do I disassemble my engines before I put them together, like when I buy a brand new engine? Yeah, actually I do. I've had engines that have had defective, put some oil in the piston, defective bearings, or, you know, some metal flakes or some kind of garbage on the inside of the motor, and, you know, that's just no bueno. So, right, how are we looking at time here? Oh, we're still cool. Still cool for a bit, I hope. Alright, so our piston, that big notch, faces forward. And we're going to put our piston in the right direction, of course. If you put them in wrong, it won't run. I'm trying to do this on camera here so I can still see what I'm doing. Just going to line that guy up and wiggle it on. There we go. That's on. Moves freely. Hang on a sec here. Someone's at my door. My apologies, guys. Just the strata lady was at the door there asking me a question or two. Yeah, anyways. Not a big deal. A little after and oil on the outside of the sleeve, just to aid it going in. Hope you guys are seeing all this properly. I'm not just totally friggin' wasting my time here. Alright, so there's our exhaust port. Lines up with the port in the block. And we're going to put that guy down. And you sometimes have to fart around with the piston a little bit. Sometimes they just kind of want to go in. Sometimes not. Can't really reach down there. Be careful not to scratch anything, but you can lightly just kind of push the piston in the right position. And if you're lucky, like I am, everything goes right together. And then there's a notch in the top of the sleeve. That lines up with that little pin sticking out of the block. There we go. And a lot of people always go, oh, it's tighter around the top, there's something wrong. There's nothing wrong, that's actually called pinch. Remember how I was showing you before with the old piston and sleeve, how it comes up the top like that? Well, if you tried to do that with a new one, it won't even budge. So, yeah, anyways. It's cool. It's really cool. Just gonna grab myself a paper towel here and a little bit of brake clean. A lot of people ask what I clean my engines with, and well, one is an aluminum cleaner. Well, it's not really designed to clean aluminum, but it works well if you're careful and you don't leave it for too long because it'll destroy things. And other than that, just non-chlorinated brake parts cleaner. This stuff. Non-chlorinated, important. Also use at your own discretion, and use it in a well-ventilated area so you don't make yourself sick. So we got our head button here, head gasket, and this guy goes on like so. It'll be kind of tight, and sometimes you have to wiggle them a little bit, but usually they want to go on pretty easy. Like that. There you go. It's like with my Pico engine, that almost won't even come out. The interference fit is so tight. Okay, so we want to put our cylinder head on next. We're just going to put a little dab of oil. You don't have to, but just a little dab on the screws is fine. Just to aid in them going in. And remember, this is just aluminum, so you got to be careful you don't overdo it, over tighten it and strip it, because it'll be pissed off. The highest level of pissivity. You'll be pissed off at yourself. Screw this guy down. You don't want to screw down one screw all the way and tighten it. You want to go like in a crisscross pattern, and just tighten them down a little bit by little bit. You know what I mean? You don't want to go hog wild. Remember, this is just a small engine. You don't need to go crazy. I think they actually used to make a torque wrench just for this process, from what I can remember a long time ago. This is getting a factory dynamite plug. It just hasn't shown up yet. Also, we're going to put on the back plate. I'm not going to put the carburetor on in this video. I actually have to take it apart and clean it because it's all gunked up. Don't forget your carburetor guy, your holder thing. So we're going to grab our back plate, stick our one-way bearing in it. If your pull starter slips, like it won't grab, clean that thing. Take them out, clean them. Sand the starter shaft a little tiny bit with some like 800 or 1000 grit sandpaper, and that will stop it from slipping on you and driving you absolutely crazy. Let's see here, make sure that's gonna, sometimes you have to kind of, there you go, you heard it click together. Right. There's enough oil on these screws already from when I took them out last time, so I'm not going to bother putting on any more. You guys getting bored yet? Just want to say a big thank you to all you guys. Are just freaking awesome for subscribing and watching and commenting and everything else. You guys are the best. How much time we got here? Looks like we're okay so far. I hope this video turns out good. I really do. Alright, so we're just going to crisscross tighten these guys up. I don't have the pull start at the moment. It's actually, it should be here any day. But there we go. It turns over nice. As you can see. Oh, it's tight. Well, anyways, you guys get the idea. Just going to unlock it from top dead center. There we go. So that's there. And we got our pinch bolt. You don't want to lose these. And if it's not tight enough, it can... which way does this guy go back? And I think it goes this way. There we go. Yeah, if you lose this guy, you can't tighten your carburetor down. And don't go gooping it up with a bunch of silicone either. That doesn't make things better. Okay. We are done. Just going to put another little drop down on the crank. Like I said, it's going to be a while before this engine gets started. Not too long, maybe. I don't know, hopefully a couple of weeks. So it's fine to sit like this with the castor oil in it. I'm going to stick a glow plug in it, plug up the exhaust, and plug up the carburetor for the time being, which is over here, and it needs to be cleaned, and it's got a bunch of goop in it, and it's old, so that'll be another video after this. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully everything turned out good, and thanks for watching. There will be more videos coming soon, I promise. It's just everything's taken a long time. Later, guys. Have a good one.